Welcome to this explainer. Look, let's just jump right in, because honestly, the stakes have literally never been higher. We are looking right down the barrel of the 2026 World Cup, hosted across the USA, Mexico, and Canada. And sitting at the absolute center of the global spotlight, it's Brazil. The most successful nation in football history is stepping onto the pitch with a burning, almost desperate need to win. Why? Because the pressure is totally reaching a boiling point. So today, we're not just going to talk about who's playing. We're going to build your ultimate fan playbook so you understand exactly what's happening on the pitch, in the dugout, and yep, even up in the commentator's booth.
Here is our playbook for today's explainer. 1. Brazil's 2026 World Cup squad. 2. Tactics and positions explained. 3. The infamous offside rule. 4. Brazilian soccer slang. And 5. Classic football cliches. All right, Section 1, Brazil's 2026 World Cup squad. 24. That is how many incredibly long years it's been since Brazil last lifted the World Cup trophy, back in 2002. I mean, for a nation where football is basically a religion, a 2.5-decade drought is just agonizing. And looming over that entire drought is the ghost of 2014. You know the one, that infamous, heartbreaking 7-1 loss to Germany right on their own home soil. Enter Carlo Ancelotti. They brought in the legendary manager to finally end this curse. He's got a massive job on his hands, but thankfully he also has some of the absolute greatest talent on the planet to work with.
You know a team is stacked when the competition just to get on the pitch is this fierce, and that starts right at the back. Ancelotti has to choose between two totally world-class options for goalkeeper, Liverpool's Alisson and Fenerbahce's Ederson. Alisson is usually the front runner, mostly because of his incredible shot stopping, while Ederson is famous for his completely exceptional ability with the ball at his feet. Having to bench one of these guys is, well, it's a ridiculous luxury problem, but it really shows you just how high the standard is just to wear that yellow shirt.
So, the multi-million-dollar question, how is Ancelotti going to set them up? Well, he's expected to unleash this hyper-aggressive 4-2-4 formation. He's relying on veterans like Marquinhos at the back and Casemiro in midfield to provide the stability. But up front, oh man, it is sheer attacking firepower. Even with massive stars like Rodrigo missing out due to injury, they still have absolute dynamos like Vinicius Jr., who recently came so incredibly close to winning the Ballon d'Or, right alongside Barcelona's Rafinha. This is a team built to score and to do it with undeniable flair. Moving right along to Section 2, Tactics and Positions Explained. Okay, so a soccer pitch basically operates in 3 main zones. You've got the defensive third, which is anchored by players like Marquinhos protecting the goal. Then you have the midfield zone. This is the true engine room, controlled by players like Bruno Guimaraes, linking everything together. And finally, the attacking third, where your forwards are operating as the primary goal-scoring threats. Now, because Brazil is so dangerous going forward, they are absolutely going to face this next tactic. It's called parking the bus. This is a famously frustrating defensive strategy, where the opposing team essentially just gives up on attacking. They pull almost all of their players back into their own penalty area to defend the goal. I mean, it literally looks like they've parked a bus right in front of the net. It's the exact opposite of Brazil's aggressive, flowing style. And Ancelotti's biggest headache is going to be figuring out how his attackers can actually pick the lock of a parked bus. Then, on the total other end of the tactical spectrum, we have tiki-taka. Popularized by the Spanish national team and Barcelona, this is a heavily possession-based strategy. Instead of defending deep, a team playing tiki-taka tries to completely suffocate you by just keeping the ball. It's all about rapid, short passing, constant movement, and working the ball through super tight channels. If Brazil faces a tiki-taka team, their midfield engine room is going to have to work incredibly hard to disrupt those passing lanes and win the ball back.
All right, let's get into Section 3, the infamous offside rule. Okay, the most debated rule in sports. Think of a track and field sprint. A sprinter absolutely cannot start running before the starter's gun goes off, right? If they do, it's a false start. Offside in football works the exact same way. An attacker cannot start their run behind the opposition's defensive line before the ball is actually played to them. You have to time your run perfectly with the pass. If you go too early, the flag goes up.
Let's break it down, because for an attacker to actually be penalized, 3 specific things have to happen. Step 1 is timing. The offside is judged at the exact split second the ball leaves the passing teammate's foot. Step 2 is positioning. At that exact moment, the attacker receiving the ball must be level with or behind the second last defender. And since the goalkeeper is usually the last player, we're really talking about the last outfield defender. If any part of the attacker's body that can legally score a goal is past that defender, they're in an offside position. But wait, step 3 is super crucial: involvement. Just standing offside isn't a penalty. The player must actively become involved in the play, like touching the ball, blocking the goalkeeper's view, or gaining an advantage. All 3 of those steps must happen for the whistle to blow. But here is where casual fans usually get tripped up. There are some vital exceptions to this rule. During regular open play passes, offside absolutely applies. But from a throw-in, a corner kick, or a goal kick, offside simply does not exist. Seriously, you can stand right on the goalkeeper's toes if you want to. Why? Well, because without these exceptions, the game would literally never stop stopping. Every single throw-in would result in an offside trap, and that beautiful flowing nature of the game would be entirely ruined.
Let's shift gears a bit. Section 4, Brazilian soccer slang.
The literal translations here are just amazing. Okay, so in English, kicking the ball through an opponent's legs is called a nutmeg. But in Brazil, it's a caneta, which literally translates to pin. What if a goalkeeper makes a massive, super embarrassing error and lets an easy shot slip through? The crowd is going to yell frango, which literally means chicken. And a spectacular rainbow flick, where a player rolls the ball up the back of their leg and kicks it right over an opponent's head, that is a lambreta. Learning these terms just gives you such a great feel for the joyful, playful culture of Brazilian joga bonita.
And finally, Section 5, classic football cliches.
Let's kick off with an absolute classic. He's got great feet for a big man. I guarantee you will hear this during the tournament. It's this hilariously running joke that absolutely every reasonably skilled player who just happens to be over 6 feet tall is subjected to this exact phrase by the commentators. It's almost as if being tall automatically means you shouldn't be able to dribble a soccer ball.
And then, of course, we have this beauty. But can he do it on a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke? This is a famous, slightly ridiculous cliché used mostly in English football culture. Basically, it's used to question if a flashy international superstar, let's say a Brazilian winger who is used to playing in the Spanish sunshine, actually has the grit and toughness to handle the harsh, freezing, super physical reality of a midwinter game in the English leagues. For commentators, it's like the ultimate test of true grit.
Finally, we have, you couldn't write a script like this. The irony here is just dripping. Commentators absolutely love to yell this at the top of their lungs during a dramatic late goal or a crazy penalty shootout. But the funny thing is, you absolutely could write a script like this, mostly because it's a scenario that has actually happened hundreds of times before in football history. It is just the ultimate default setting for commentator excitement.
So what does this all mean? Well, it means you are now fully equipped. You know the squad inside out, you understand the tactical battlefield between a 4-2-4 and a parked bus, you know exactly when that flag should go out for offside, and hey, you even speak the street slang. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. With all of this immense attacking talent, the Artilheiros and Carlo Ancelotti's mastermind tactics pulling the strings, will Brazil finally erase the ghosts of the past and end their 24-year curse in 2026? Enjoy the tournament, keep an eye out for those frangos, and thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy, he's so humble, he's so dedicated, and he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye-bye. God bless.